guys, welcome to another video. It's pretty cold out here. Might throw some gloves on later, so if you see me magically turning this shit, put some gloves on. That's why, it's also nail. I came up to my favorite mountain spot to film 2 videos. So this is gonna look very similar to another video that's coming out. I'm assuming most of the people watching this aren't too familiar with me. This is a very searched topic, and I'm assuming a lot of newcomers are gonna show up here. So before we get started in the video, I really wanted to kind of highlight, subscribe. I'm just creating a Discord that we're gonna basically have a little mini community in there where we'll share, you know, tips and tricks with GXs. We'll share trails, camping spots, all that stuff that I really don't want to share to everyone else. I would like to keep it within my community. Hit the subscribe button, check the description for the Discord link. If this part is in the video, the Discord is working. If it's not, then you would never see this. Okay, so let's dive in. I want to talk about some tips and tricks, and I guess not tips and tricks, but things to look for when you're looking to buy a Lexus GX470. Want to speak to it and things I wish I would have known when I bought the GX, but yeah, so 5 things. I have a list right here, so if you see me looking down, it's because I have terrible short-term memory. So, okay, so first, before we dive in, what is a Lexus GX470? If you're searching this, you probably already know, but if you came across this from another video or whatever, however you ended up here, a Lexus GX470 is pretty much a Toyota Land Cruiser Prado 120. So the Land Cruiser Prado and the GX are very, very unique in the Toyota lineup, since it is one of the only, other than the 80 series, it is the only full-time four-wheel drive with center locker. So pretty much what that means is it's full-time four-wheel drive, so it's all-wheel drive. You lock that center diff, it becomes true four-wheel drive. So it's great. It's a really, really good daily, especially if you live somewhere like I do in Washington, where it's constantly raining, sometimes it snows, there's leaves on the ground that are wet and slippy. This is super nice because it keeps me and my family safe. Okay, so just right off the bat, here's the thing. If you're looking to buy a GX and you're into this kind of stuff, there is a high chance that you are gonna wanna do everything yourself. There's a little bit of I don't want to call it glory in doing it all yourself. You know, the whole bought not built thing. There's a little bit. There's also more to it. I would stay away, if you plan on doing everything yourself, I would stay away from an already modified GX. Hear me out. More than likely they used it. It's gonna have more damage, it's gonna have a bit more things done to it that can go wrong. I would stay away from modified GXs unless you are wanting a turnkey solution. So if you are wanting to buy a bought or built GX, and so you don't have to really do anything to it other than a few little things to make it yours, do that. If you wanna modify it from the ground up, go with an unmodified GX. This is a Lexus. Most of the people that owned it, it never saw dirt unless it was in their mansion driveway, right? That's what happened with mine. It was a Highway Queen out in California. So yeah, stay away from modified GXs unless you plan on wanting unless you want a turnkey solution, then sure, whatever. Number 2, this one's really confusing, so you will need I will need my notes. So if you see me looking down, that's why. Okay, the different years. The Lexus GX470, although it's one generation, right? It goes 470 and then 460. It has a ton of years, and each year brings in different things. So we're gonna start from the top, from the earliest. 2003 to 2004 GX470s have non-VVTi engines. What is that? Doesn't really matter. All it means is it has a little bit less power than the 5 to the 09, but if you're really dying to supercharge your Lexus, it's a lot easier to supercharge the non-VVTi. It's actually made TRD kits for them. Okay, so basically, 2005, 2009, you have the VVTi engine. So that's kind of the general place I would look. I would prefer, I would, you know, prefer the VVTi engine. It is newer. It has a bit more horsepower. So I would recommend the VVTi. So 05 to 09 right now is the sweet spot that we're sitting in. Okay, so next up, the 2007 to the 2009 is really the gems. So here they updated the head unit. So the actual navigation inside the GX470, especially inside the 05 and before that, it's garbage. The touchscreen was just junk. I have the 05. It's not great. If you do decide to upgrade to the GROM, which gives you basically CarPlay on your default navigation system, you're stuck with the same old touchscreen, and it's as good as 2005 touchscreens were, which, if you remember, not good. Remember the PDAs? Ooh. The other thing the 2007 to 2009 have that I didn't even know they had until I found this out through a buddy who has a 2000, I think 7. They have aux plugs. You know, that thing that's like mandatory. It has aux plugs. I have a freaking tape recorder thing that the tape to aux, and it sounds like garbage. Yeah, they also add Bluetooth in 2005, but it's not like the Bluetooth you think of. It's like the voice command one. I don't even know how to set it up. I've never set it up, so who cares? But 2007 to 2009 has aux, updated head unit, and then we'll get into the next part. There are the sport and non-sport models in the 07 to 09 range. These are really cool. So the sport can have the option of KDSS and non-KDSS. What does that mean? KDSS is amazing. It's kinetic dynamic suspension system. What it is it's basically anti-rocks that are hydraulically controlled versus a standard sway bar just being articulation control. This is great for highway driving. So it's an anti-roll bar. So if you're turning a corner quicker, the hydraulic will actually press the car lower and kind of even yourself out so you don't flip. It's really, really cool. However, it does mean less articulation off-road. I would recommend a non-KDSS model. You introduce a bit more technicalities when you're trying to lift it, sliders. You get this thing called a KDSS lean that happens even on stock GX460s. What it means is basically one side will lean more than the other, and I don't even know if there's a fix for it because I don't have a KDSS. I would stay away from KDSS. But on the sport models, they do have the cooler interior, so it's a gray interior instead of the tan. I don't mind the tan. I don't mind, rocking the tan and the, mahogany trim. The Sport has gray interior with like a black wood. It looks so cool, super jealous. So I would go for that. Now, the last thing when you're looking at all the GXs, nav versus non-nav. You might find this hard to believe, and this is honestly what I didn't know when I first bought the GX. The non-nav is the coveted. It's the end-all be-all. That's the one everybody wants. If you have a nav, you've at least looked it up 10 times to see how difficult it is to convert it to a non-nav. The reason being is the non-nav is a simple boop, put in a brand new Android head unit, CarPlay, whatever. The nav is not the case because the nav, get out of here, bug. The nav has the climate controls built into the nav system, so you have to get one of the Tesla screens, the GROM units. It's just not as easy. So my recommendation would be, if you could find it, a non-nav. I would almost have a non-nav over like an 07 to 09. I would rather have a non-nav without an aux cable, because then you could just put in a new CarPlay and you just use Bluetooth. Basically, the golden unicorns are the golden unicorns, like a unicorn isn't cool enough, are the non-nav, sport, non-KDS, gray interior. That's like what everyone wants. Okay, so this one's fun. So maintenance history. Okay, next, I'm just kidding. Okay, so maintenance history, really what you want to check for, I would check for when the timing belt was last done. Rule of thumb, you're probably going to have to do when you buy one of these things, or 15-year-old vehicles, you're probably going to want to do a full, take it to a shop, get everything done on it that hasn't been done on it, right? You do your oil changes, if you need to do a trans flush, you can, timing belts, alternators, batteries, whatever it is. It's not a bad idea. It's not a new car, it's an old car, whatever. But if you can get some kind of idea of the maintenance that was done on it and the maintenance history, that's a pretty nice start. I did not really do this. I was told the timing belt was changed. It wasn't. Or recently, but it wasn't. You can check all these things. So in the engine bay, you can actually, on the little timing belt or the timing cover, you should be able to see the sticker of the last time it was changed. That's an important thing. If you want to know more about timing belts, check out my other video in the description that talks all about timing belts and are they important, basically. Spoiler alert, they're super important. The other thing to check for is your air suspension. So that's one of the first things to go out on the GXs, and you can tell because you have that sag. The air compressor turns on all the time whenever the car is stopped. I would check it, just take a look at it and see, is it sagging, or even get your head in there and see if you hear a whistle, because usually they're cracked. The other thing too I would check is the bump stops. I know it sounds silly, but like my bump stops were shot when I got my GX, and I didn't even think twice about that. So check your bump stops. Obviously check your fluids, make sure coolant looks okay, and Just check for general leaks. Open the engine bay up, take off all the plastic covers if they let you. Here's the thing I want to kind of add on top of the maintenance. Right now, a GX, I bought my GX for $8,000. Right now, a GX is, in Washington at least, I see them all the time for about $20,000 to $25,000. So here's the thing, they're high in demand. So if you see a GX and maybe it needs a timing belt replaced and you try to bargain with the seller, there's a high chance that they just say no, and then someone will come next day and pick one up, right? Like, they're in such high demand that I don't think you have a lot of room to bargain. Yes, it's a 15-year-old vehicle, but people are buying these up like freaking hotcakes. So I would be careful. I would just kind of use that as a mental note to know, okay, I'm buying a $20,000 15-year-old car. I should probably put an extra $5,000 aside with the loan or whatever you do to handle all the maintenance and all the work that needs done to it when you drive it off the lot. That's what I would do. Just check and see what's going on with it. If you buy a modified version, you probably won't have as much maintenance history. Most of the maintenance would probably be done in the driveway, like what I do. I do all my oil changes. I don't have a receipt of my oil changes. I just did my alternator. I don't have a receipt of me doing the alternator. You know what I mean? Like, I can show you I bought one, but most of the things done on a modified would be done by the previous owner. So that's something to keep in mind. So the next one is a unique thing for the GX. So all these other ones are kind of like, other than the years, but like the maintenance stuff, that's all kind of, you should do that with every car you buy, right? Unique to this is checking the transfer case and the center lockers. What I would recommend doing is obviously take it for a test drive. I would try to stay away from buying one of these without test driving it, just because there's a lot of mechanical things on here that you want to make sure work. So get in the car, put it into neutral, slam that thing into low, and just see how it drives, see how it feels when you're cranking it. You should be fine. Just check it. Just make sure it's not making any weird noises. Make sure you can tell the gear ratio is changing. Drive it a little bit, and then throw in the center lockers. So again, put it in neutral, put center lockers on, put it in drive. Sometimes I have to go in a little circle to get to engage, or reverse and back forward, whatever. Move around a little bit and see if that center locker symbol stops blinking. That's really important. So make sure that happens. Both of those things happen, you're probably in the clear, but those are the two things I would really check for when you're inside and you're test driving it. Also, just while you're driving it, make sure it's not making any funny sounds. No funny sounds on the GX is usually a good thing, right? Or no funny sounds. There are no good funny sounds. Well, there's a few good funny sounds, but from the engine, there's no good funny sounds. So the last thing is going to be just general, like, you're buying a car. What do you look for? Things like, for me, my broken reverse light. I had no idea it was broken. I didn't even look. I was just, oh, GX, I'm excited about it. Look for cosmetic damage. Look for this stuff, right? Paint peeling. Look for rust, especially if you live in a rusty state. That sounds so disrespectful to, like, Michigan, but sorry, you guys are rusty. Ugh. East Coast, you guys are rusty. But no, check for rust. No vehicle is safe from rust. God, okay, I'm starting to get attacked by these bugs again. Shout out to my rooftop tent video. But anyways, check for rust, check for any defects, check for dents, check for whatever. Use Carfax, look into the history, make sure it was never in a wreck, just not savage title or anything. Those are kind of the things that you should be checking on every vehicle you buy. All cars are rusty. I don't know why it's a GX specific thing. Holy shit, there's so many freaking bugs now. I'm sure you can see them flying around me. Get the fuck out of here. All right, guys. That's all I have, though. If you guys have any other tips, drop them below. If you're looking for a GX and you want to ask me something specific, you want to send it over to me, follow me on Instagram. It's in the description below. Sorry, guys. I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes now. But follow me on Instagram. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Check the Discord below, too. I'm going to actually have a buying guide down there, too, in the Discord, where you can upload some pictures or a post of a GX that's for sale, and the community, myself, or mods, whatever, will go in there and actually answer some questions, make sure it looks good, and if we see a good deal, we'll throw it in there too. But yeah, I'm really excited about building this little Discord community. If you're not familiar with Discord is, it's basically like an online social media that's only for a little community. So that's it for this video, though. I'll see you in the next one. Be back next week for another video, kind of similar to this one. I'll see you guys. I'm going to get in the car now. See you later. Bye.